It may seem difficult from a distance, but it's not. I mean, if you just try, if you just keep trying and consistently working on yourself, on your weaknesses, or whatever if you need to practice technical, if you just keep working yourself, it's not difficult.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Sarthak Show, where we discuss about tech, career, product, and life. And today we have a very special guest with us, Sampriti. She is working at Google London, and she is part of Android enterprise team. So today we will learn how she was able to crack that opportunity, what things that she learned, and what things that she did to crack an international opportunity at this point. And today we will know also all about her experiences at moving to London, how she's working there, what are the differences, and what how it is compared to any Indian company opportunities. So without further ado, let's start with the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my show. And today we have a very special guest with us for this podcast, who is working as a software engineer at Google London, Sampriti. So we will deep dive into her story. She has also worked at Microsoft and Expedia. Thank you so much for coming here, and we will love to know more about you and take this forward. So how has been this experience at Google London going on for you?
It's been great so far, I feel. And apart from, like, I feel not just the technical and the professional perspective, I feel the transition has been a lot more deep in terms of the cultural difference, in terms of how I've had to do a lot of things alone. I obviously have friends, but like, setting up this entire place, getting all the stuff. So all of that has been, I would say, a little bit overwhelming, but obviously a great experience.
Yeah, I think that's kind of expected, because even if you move from one city to another, that takes
Yeah.
quite burdensome. So if you are moving from one country to another, then there's a lot of different things that you have to manage in and out, and learn about those things. So yeah, and kudos to you for keeping this up, and also taking out time of this podcast and during this process. Um, so yeah, I wanted to take in on this forward and know about how did you get into Google, and as in everybody might be wondering about what is the exact process. Did you apply via referral? Was this a recruiter reached out to you? How has been this process for you?
So I feel it wasn't like a straight, like, there aren't specific steps. What can
Mm-hmm.
happen is, like, for first, I'll tell you about myself. So what happened with me was I did not apply via referral. I just happened to go over like I just saw this opening at the career page and I directly applied, and then I got a call from the recruiter. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say that. Um, in terms of how a person can apply, you can try out different things. It could be just, I at that point in time I was just applying to a lot of companies in London and to US also. But in US I feel there are a lot of visa issues, and for freshers they don't usually allow. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, anything works out for you. I was just applying to a lot of companies. Some recruiters reached out to me, some I had to mail or find out, and when I applied, then they contacted me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think great story. And so you reached out to, and then you applied directly via the career page. And it could be
Correct.
the experience could be different for different people and different opportunities at
Yeah,
different companies.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah,
but
definitely.
what was that trigger point for you that made you realize that this is the point I should go out and look for opportunities beyond India? and and how did you land upon this opportunity? So like London was a preference, or is it like you want to just go abroad? And how was that journey?
I feel I hadn't thought about it before as much, as like it was a step by step process. So earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I just so in India when I was in college, I had a lot of offers and I was applying to a lot of companies in India also. So
Mm-hmm.
I sat for companies, and then I had like two or three offers. I was working with Microsoft, so I was just looking for something different to try. Probably I just
Right.
wanted to explore how interviews. I have some friends from my batch who went abroad, who went to work with a lot of other companies like Bloomberg, Amazon. So I was just,
Mm-hmm.
trying to explore. I was just trying to see how different this might be, what all experiences I'll gain by coming here, and like
Mm-hmm.
my parents were always very supportive. Like they wanted me to explore different things. They wanted me to try something abroad, or any kind of new experience that I might gain. So I
Mhm.
was just looking for opportunities, and I found two or three. Then I applied. Even then, like when I was applying, I didn't think it through. That what
Mhm.
is going to happen if I actually get a call and I have to shift. It was like very a step by step, a gradual process. So
Mhm.
that time I just applied without thinking about the next steps. What's going to be? What if I actually have to move?
Mhm.
How is it going to be? I just thought about the next step, that I'll apply, I'll give the interviews, I'll see what happens. And then, gradually
Mhm.
everything just came through.
Yeah, amazing. I think that's the spontaneity and the curiosity that is at our age, that you definitely want to
Yeah.
try on the next big thing and definitely want to explore the options out there. Uh, and that's the hustle that we always want to do that. And I hope that has been the
Yeah.
case for you, and you applied for this opportunity. And luckily, and congratulations to you for grabbing and closing on this round soon, moving here. So, if you would want to share that. How was I would say, the interview experience for you? Is it like different from the one you had at Microsoft, which was at India level, and the one you applied for that Google London? Is it something similar to what you might have for Google India, or is it like something different? And what kind of difficulty level can be expected over here?
So I feel it's similar to Google India. The interview process wasn't much different.
Mm-hmm.
There were some steps there, like in London, I was given an option to choose between 4 and 5 interviews, and
Mm-hmm.
in India, I feel right now there's no such option. But that option was just because they had some reorganization. They wanted to me to choose between different teams. But
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, if you ask me about the technical difficulty, I wouldn't say it wasn't that different. I
Mm-hmm.
had last year actually given Google India's interviews also, so I feel it was more or less similar. Yeah, like just here and there also depends a lot on the interviewer, I feel. So some
Mm-hmm.
interviewers can, I feel if they're from India or from anywhere, I feel some interviewers can ask difficult, some can ask easy, but more or less the difficulty level was the same. The standard that Google had was the same.
Yeah, true.
Um, yeah, so yeah.
Sorry, sorry, you were saying something. Sorry.
No, 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 I was just saying that, like, if you ask me, the interview process was divided into 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So the first round was it's called like a phone screen round. So basically, they just screen and they just see that they want to call you for the other on-site interviews or not. So
Mm-hmm.
after the first round, that's the elimination round. So after the first round, then we have 5 rounds, 4 of which are technical, and then one is the last Googliness round that they call. So all of these are 45 minutes long. They
Mm-hmm.
have in which you have to code, think, discuss with the interviewer, everything, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's a creative name out there for Googliness round, right? Like, how was that round specifically?
Yeah, it was great for me. I feel the interviewer was quite happy with my answers. Yeah, so basically, in the Googliness round, they want to test how well you'd fit in the professional environment, and specifically at Google. But I would say it's not very different from what other sort of HR rounds that we call in India,
Mm-hmm.
or in other companies that I've gone through. More or less, the questions are the same. How you would, fit into how you would handle a team conflict. How would you escalate it to your manager, or would you? And if there are conflicts, what kind of a person would you like? How would you take decisions in
Mm-hmm.
situations where things are a little messy, where you have a little bit conflicts, or how you would handle such situations. So more or less, the questions are like that.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think that's the best part of it. Like every technical round or culture fit round or whatever, the Google has that top-notch standard maintained, and that is why I might say there might be similarities in Google India, Google London, because they are looking for the same kind of talent across the world. So yeah, but yeah, I do have a follow up on that as well. So since you applied for Google London, is there any special processes required, as in special round where, or is there anything that was indicated that would you prefer Google India instead of Google London, or is there anything that was extraordinary, difficult or extraordinary in the sense of how would you apply for a Google India position? So yeah.
No, I don't think so. Also depends on the recruiter, I guess. So my recruiter was based in London. So he did give me, he was from the EMEA region. So he did give me options about the Europe region entire. He gave me an option about whether I would like to choose London, Zurich, Dublin, some of these places. So since he belonged to that region, he gave me those options. Could be that if he was also, I mean, he could have, it actually depends on the recruiter. So recruiters can, I think, some manage some things, or can, if you really bond with them, and if you really ask them, I feel they can probably he could have made my interviews for India, or I feel in India. I'm not sure how that works within recruiters, but I feel at least in the region that they are at, they can manage locations and all of that.
Okay. Sounds it's like good to hear that, because a lot of people are afraid that we shouldn't apply for international positions. There might be very harsh, or might be different kind of interviewers altogether.
No,
But
like, yeah,
good to know that.
yeah, apart from that, I would just like to add that, yeah, like the difficulty level and the process was not different. I would say it's a very, I mean, the first step is to apply. A lot of times, like, even I remember that some time ago, or like last year, I would say, I used to feel very afraid about, oh, how this is going to be very hard, how is it like. But once you start, just once you get into it, just take the first step, just apply for it and see what happens. And when I did that, I realized that it's not very different from what we are used to. Some like, I feel the only difference was that the interviewers were from Europe, and I feel that's not that much of a big deal. For, like, they're eventually going to ask us technical questions, so if you're prepared for that, so I don't think that's going to be a difference.
Yeah, I think the only caveat would be that the time as a difference between yeah. So the interview might be in the odd hours, but altogether it would be the lovely experience. Yeah. And so moving forward, I think you cleared all the rounds, you got the news, and there will be some separate process, then the notice period and the process for visa and everything. Now you have moved to Google London. How has been the experience in working in the Android enterprise team? How was that experience, and would you share some light on that?
Yeah, I mean, the transition has been great. So right now I've been going through a training, and like initial some trainings and all of that, but it's great. Like, the team is good, everyone's super helpful, everyone's very smart. Like, it feels great to be working among smartest people. It's really good. Like, everyone's super helpful, super humble and smart.
Yeah, and great to hear that and validate that, because I feel you are at the finest place in the earth, and we are working among the bestest and the best minds of across nations, and we are working on a product which is going to impact the life of a lot of professionals, because since Android Enterprise team is targeted towards all the people who are using their phones for professional uses and given by companies, so working on that would be something very, very exciting. And this could be another side reflected question, but how has been the perks, like, since you might be getting a different set of perks than a Google India person, so how has been those perks for you? What are the different things that you have liked and so far you have received from Google?
So I feel one very important perk is the food. So the food here is free, which is there in Google India also. It's not different, but the food's great. Apart from that, there are some different perks. Like, I feel there's one cycle to work scheme where they give you a cycle and you can go to office via cycle. Then there are some. I feel it's not very much different, but more or less the same. It's not like the general perks, like all offices, some goodies and all.
Yeah, awesome. And how has been the so basically, since people are kind of afraid in the way that it's going to be a tough experience with the visa clearing, as in visa process or the transition process to move to a new city, get a place over there, and it might be very, very expensive in some cases. A lot of different things, questions come into picture. So I hope that some of the questions also popped into your mind. So how has been that journey, and how did you maintain that calm and composure? Because I can see that you have been very patiently handling all of this situation. So how has been that experience, or what is your mantra for that patience and calmness?
I haven't been that calm. Like I feel the visa process and the passport and all of that, passport earlier, but visa
Mm-hmm.
process and like shifting has been very like it's a mess. I feel for most people who go through it know it. Like the
Mm-hmm.
visa
Right.
arrives like last minute, the visa appointments. You have to do a lot of tests before that. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of hassle, but I feel it's worth it in the end when you reach where you want to reach. And like even here I was lucky enough that I had a friend here who already was looking for flats, and she found a flat for us. So as soon as I came here, I just directly shifted here, so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to do house hunting much. But I have friends here who've been house hunting and who've been looking at different places even now. So yeah, and the I feel the most important thing which I feel here is that you have to do everything yourself. You have to cook by yourself. You have to
Mm-hmm.
clean your house. So this is like a big. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a privilege in India, but I feel I mean it could be like I mean you have a lot of people to help back at India, but when you're at a like I feel in London here everything you have to do by yourself. I mean there's no one to obviously people can help, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to manage everything.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can attest to that. That has been the case for a lot of my friends. They have been exponential growth, as an exponential learning in this process, because you have to do a lot of those work, heavy lifting, all of these things that has been at least taken care at India. But these are things that you have to manage yourself in London. So moving to a new city is a different experience, but moving to a new country, maintaining all of these things and doing all of the bells and shingles apart from uh, just normal your routine work is something which is uh, time taking, but at the end of the day it's worth it, because you are experiencing new things and you're learning, you're loving this place.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I hope that's been the case. um, since we have to move towards the end part of it, I would want to touch base upon a quick rapid fire with you. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, sure.
So most of my questions are stuck towards, since you have moved to Google London. So one of the question is, uh, what how has been like what is the best place that you have visited so far?
Best place. Okay, so we went to this short hike, Surrey Hills. It's a little outskirts towards
Mm-hmm.
the city, like a countryside, but it was a pretty good hike, and the hills and the view was pretty good.
Okay, and what's the best dish that you like?
I feel in where if you come to London or if anyone, I mean, so for here the best dish becomes Indian. So because Indian is rare and we rarely get to eat. So I feel
Uh-huh.
recently Google London just hosted a. It was a Holi special, and the entire office had Indian food, so it was great. I mean, they tried. It wasn't very as good as it would have been in India, but it was good. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, kudos to Google London office to even make that effort, right? But yeah, at least since it's rare to get that food, so it's, oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And the question would be then next, anything. So one of the best places that you have visited in London itself, as
Okay, in
in.
London,
Mhm.
we haven't been to a lot of places, but I would say the London Bridge, the
Okay.
on top of the Thames River. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. And then I'm moving to more technical side of questions. So, uh, you're more of a Mac OS person or Windows person or Linux person?
I had never used Mac till now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but now that I've got a company laptop, I have to use it, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't still got the hang of it. So, if you ask me in terms of comfortability, I'm still comfortable with Windows.
Okay, great to hear that. And is it same for the phone itself? Are you an iPhone person or Android phone person?
Android.
Yeah, nice.
Since I'm in the Android team, so I can't say.
Right, you cannot go against that. Right. Uh, on the development side of it, are you more into back end or into front end?
I haven't had that much experience of a backend, but right now I've been looking to explore that. So
Mhm.
right, I would say backend for now because I want to explore more of that.
Okay. And what's your work preference? Like it's work from home or work from office?
It's work from office now because we've been in COVID and we've been at home for a long time. So
Right.
I think we just want to get out of home right now. So work from office.
Definitely. And since you are explaining all together new office, then this excitement is at its
Yeah,
peak, right? So
yeah.
yeah. So what is the best thing that you have enjoyed at Google London's office? The best thing, yeah.
At the office, it's a lot of things. We have a music room specially dedicated
Oh,
to
nice.
yeah. So there are a lot of great musical instruments kept there: drums, keyboards, guitars. So and we can just go there and play anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's obviously free snacks and drinks and
Right.
games room and also it's great.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I think great to hear that. Great to hear from your experiences. Great to hear from your learning. And by this, we come to the end of this podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed this short podcast with Sampriti. We learned a lot about these opportunities and why you have to keep hustling in this part. Sampriti, do you want to add in last words for the audience?
I would just like to say that it may seem difficult from a distance, but it's not. I mean, if you just try, if you just keep trying and consistently working on yourself, on your weaknesses or whatever if you need to practice technical, you just keep working yourself. It's not difficult.
Right. Yeah, and that's the best advice. So you have to keep trying without worrying about the outcome. It might come, it might be a rejection, it might
Yeah.
be a selection, but it might be a selection. So that's the best way, and you have to keep trying. So all of the folks who wanted to connect with Sampriti, I will put her LinkedIn link in the description box below. You can reach out to her, and you can mention the comment section below whatever the comments you might have, or want to ask, or what you want in the next video. Till then, take care, guys. See you in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you so much, Sampriti.